So we never completely finished our conversation about the ginger here. I have grown ginger for years in the barranca, and it was ornamental ginger. And they did okay, but in the really dry season, what happens is animals come and they chop them down. They chop them down because they're moist, not because they're angry at them or something. And that's kind of a bummer because, we want things to grow and everything. And so you'll find these, stalks going up, and then the squirrels or something come along and just eat them through in the dry season. Well, that's a fixable problem. We already know we want pools in the barranca, and that's a huge project. It's super important and very easily done. There's some costs involved, and there's some labor. And then there's some maintenance, which we always got to be careful of not creating systems we have to spend a lot of time maintaining. But there's no unknown technologies in it. There's no pumps in it at all. We don't want any pumps. And we want a steady supply of water for wildlife down in the barranca. The barranca is the most important wildlife area in the entire Bosque. The areas around it should be more protected, and any changes in the area should all be made in reference to knowing what effect we're having on that wildlife area. Additionally, if we do put water in there, we're going to attract a lot more wildlife. I can guarantee it. And so what we want is to put water far away in the barranca. We want to put it as low as we can, as high as we can, in spots we can invest in and not have some other plan stomp on it later. So we want to think really long term. And there are plans about the whole barranca. But the first thing one of the things we need to do is have water systems in places. And what's good is that for some types of that system, we can actually do portable systems. If we're unsure of something, if we're not sure and we want to do it, we should probably develop a 55-gallon barrel that provides a little bit of water and measure it all out and figure it out. It seems too small. Another option is to put a whole tinaco down there somewhere, and that's a bit more extreme. But we again would calculate at what rate could we feed animals this, and you figure how much even dogs drink, and it's some, and how much humans drink. It's quite a bit of water you need, and it's worth it. I really believe it's worth it. There used to be water here, now there isn't, and that is a tragedy. It's horrible. The other thing is that if I had water down there, because all these things are connected, I could grow different kinds of things, and they wouldn't get killed by animals that were thirsty because they wouldn't be thirsty. And so my agricultural use of the Bosque spaces for the ones that I'm going to change or have changed would be very different without thirsty animals. And they might even be very well protected and do very well. This one big, huge piece of ginger is going to have a bunch of buds come off of it. Here's one. I don't know if I could cut this single one off right here and have that whole thing bud out really well, and then other ones here would bud. In other words, what do you think? How many could I get out of this? And I think the only way to learn this is through experimentation. I will look online and see if I can find a video you made, and you tell me and you show me exactly where you cut and how many you got. I mean, could I split this one in half? I don't know. Should I just plant the whole thing as one thing and then get a really big mass of ginger going so I have a 5-gallon bucket full of it, and then dig a huge hole somewhere where it would love it and then put it in there? Is that my best bet? I don't know. I don't know how to cultivate this. But this is the question we have for every single thing we have. And there's an interesting thing about this is if I ask this kind of question online, as I'm doing now, I'm going to get a whole bunch of different opinions. And those opinions don't all have my same values. The ones that don't have my values but work for that person, that's great. They should go all gangbusters on them, all power to them. But I have really strict values about how I grow things. And I think there's really wrong roads to go down, especially if they're high-tech in any way or need any tubes or pumps or anything. And so ultimately my goal is to grow these in the forest and have a place where I can encourage them so much in that spot that they just take it over and it's just this big mass of garlic. And then when I want to, I can just go in there with a shovel and I can cut roots like this out of there at the right time of year, whatever that is. And then I can take them out and put them to best use. Initially, the best use, you know what it is? Think about it. Think about what's the best use of this if I got one out of the ground. The very best use is to make more. And don't let the kitchen get it. Because the kitchen wants produce right away when you start producing it. They want it. But we want to have runaway success at something before we let the kitchen take it. Food is so cheap here, if we have any outside income coming into the country at all, that food is not our biggest issue, surprisingly. It may sound counterintuitive, but the primary goal here is not to produce the maximum amount of food available for humans at all. I understand that everybody has that as a vision, and that I've been criticized, like, well, you're not self-sustainable. Damn right I'm not. It's because I'm doing completely other stuff.